Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We have some special guests joining us this morning.
Yes, indeed.
We have Queen Afua. Did I say your name right?
Yes, absolutely. Thank
a master holistic healer and herbalist. And you have your son. You brought your son with you.
Yes.
SupaNova Slom. Welcome, brother.
Morning, brother
Thank
Envy.
you.
Good morning. Don't
Thank you for having
forget
me.
polarity practitioner.
Okay.
What could you explain to the people what that is, Queen Afua?
That's one who works with the energy field and primarily with the elements. We're made up of 5 elements, ether, fire, water, and earth. And so I'm able to focus in on those elements to heal the body.
Okay.
And the body is made up of nature, and it's those same elements in nature is in our body. So when we're lacking that balance, then we have disease.
So how did you
mentally.
get to this point to be a healer? What got you here? And tell us your story.
Sure. I started age 16. I was extremely sick. I was eating the all-American fast food lifestyle diet. And I was asthmatic, chronic. I had eczema from head to toe. I had PMS. Every month I would be bedridden as a woman. And I had headaches. Those were things that were going on. And I didn't know how to get out of it. And I went on a healing retreat. It was a 3-day healing retreat at that young age. And I got off the bus without my medication. And the grass, the trees was like an enemy to my body, but I didn't know that I was just so out of tune. And so I went into the space, and the asthma kicked in, the allergies kicked in, the eczema kicked in, and I was like a junkie. I was toxic, really. And I just heard that inner voice talk to me for the first time. We all have it. And it said, my first formula, eat grapefruits, lemons, oranges, and I took some rose hips tea and water. And that whole day, that's all I did. And then I sat up in front of a fireplace, because if I laid down, my lungs would have collapsed. So I sat up, and in this fireplace was part of the medicine. It was the heat from the fire. I fasted for the whole day. The mucus that was breaking up in my body was the asthma. The next day I had a detox. I learned these terms later on, and I had a detox. The mucus came out of my nose, my mouth, my eyes, and then an hour later, the itching stopped, the asthma stopped, my mind went to total balance, and I picked up a book. I came out of that bathroom, and I picked up a book, Dick Gregory, Cooking with Mother Nature. I related to his 9 children, the husband and wife, a family who was healing, detoxing, fasting, and I jumped on it because that was the end of my asthma. I went up to the mountains, and it was the end of my asthma, and I never got it back. So it's 50 years later, no asthma, no allergies, no aches, no pains, all that had left me. And then I just helped everyone I could meet, because I said, you don't have to be sick. I was convicted. And I went throughout my community with that same energy and started to talk to people in the street, in my family, anyone who would listen, because it's like I was saved. And I said, why are we suffering? Due to a lack of knowledge. So I began to teach and educate. It became holistically focused.
So initially, nobody taught you this. Like the spirit just told you, this is what you need to do right now.
Well, I was going to what called Aquarius up in Harlem, 125th Street and 5th. Dr. Johnny Moore and other real prominent, powerful healers, metaphysicians was up there. John Harris was there. And I learned through them how to live holistic and naturally. It was in my community. And it's in our culture. There was always somebody who knew the herbs, the bushes, the teas. When they wouldn't even let us in the hospitals, we had to deliver our babies at home, and we had to do things that were natural. And so that's what I had to take up that mantle myself and heal myself.
Wow.
Queen Afua, this is so important. And I think for women in particular, we've had a lot of conversations on this show about women who doctors tell them they need a hysterectomy, women, especially Black women who have fibroids, women who are having heavy bleeding on their periods, and your diet is so important. Can you talk about that?
Well, absolutely. And I was able to figure out exactly what was going on. I read a woman's menstrual flow, and women think they're having a normal menses. Well, normal is not healthy. And actually, women are hemorrhaging. And if a woman is bleeding 5, 6, 7, 8 days, or maybe longer, that she's losing her emotional and mental health. It is draining down through her blood. And so that same correlation of the number of days of the menstrual is usually a fibroid tumor by the time they reach 30. And of course, they may have it removed, and then it comes back 2 years later because they've never changed their lifestyle. So my goal, when I take women through the Sacred Rites of Passage, I take them through 12 weeks of cleansing, detoxing, learning about themselves, their culture, self-love, self-care, setting up wellness homes within their home, helping their family to heal. And then when they look at their menstrual, every time we have graduation, I said, how many of you have a menstrual flow now of 1, 2, or 3 days? And 90% of the women are saying that. How many women have pain that used to be chronic, but they don't have that pain anymore? All women say, I have no more pain. So the pain, we think that it's normal, but it's not normal. It's a sick womb. But it's not just a sick womb, it's a sick heart. All the broken relationships, the broken promise, the hit and run lovers, all of that has impacted and infected us. So we eat the foods of the lowest frequency, and we keep in this cesspool of womb pain, womb discomfort. So I'm here to show women how to, and I do it in the first 100 pages of the book, what to do, what foods, juices, herbs, plants, prayers, meditations, exercise. I teach womb yoga dance, how to empower yourself as a woman. It is extremely important for the woman to heal because the woman is the bedrock of the family. And I got real clear about that. I was reading one of the most ancient texts on spirituality from our culture, from Kemet, and it said the affirmation. When I give that affirmation to the women, they really get it. And the affirmation, I'll say it briefly, it opens up this anniversary book. It says, we are the women who lighten the darkness. We have come to lighten the darkness. It is lightened. We have overcome the destroyers. We're here for those who weep, who hide their faces, who sunk down. They looked upon us then. We are the women. We are the healers. But if you don't have the tools to heal yourself, to heal your life, then you're going to be a victim. You're going to be beaten, you're going to be dragged, you're going to be in pain, you're going to be suffering. So I opened up my heart and my arms to women who are suffering, and I understood why I had to suffer. Because once I got healed, I said, wait a minute, you mean we don't have to suffer like this? But it went even beyond us as women. It went to family. Because when women get well, they empower their families automatically. During this coronavirus, second women, they know what to do. They're very confident. From the time March hit, and it came, all the women rose up and said, okay, these are the herbs, these are the juices, this is the bed. They took their husband to the cleansing. They took their children to the cleansing. They took their elders to the cleansing. My mother, 96 years old, and she's still in her body.
Wow.
Vibrant mind and vibrant spirit and body. So we do have the ability to heal ourselves based on nature. One of my greatest healers was Dr. Johnny Moore. He was a master healer. He was 50 years in as a herbalist from up 125th and 5th. He's now an ancestor. But all of us went through him for herbology and to study the plants. And he could look at a crack in the ground and say, that's the plant that you need. And he'll be able to break it down, what it was for. And the fact that it was growing in front of your house, you needed that plant. He was connected to the elements, air, fire, water, earth. But when I started to study and develop this work, this book, Sacred Woman, I had questions. I said, so where did this medicine come from? It's all holistic. They call holistic health New Age. It's not New Age. It's as old as the mountain, the trees, the sky. It is ancient African teaching. So the women know. I'll tell them, I said, aromatherapy, African natural lifestyle. Massage therapy, reflexology, African natural lifestyle. Reiki, polarity therapy, energy work, asana head, sister to sister, African natural lifestyle. Color therapy, astrology, yoga, meditation. So I delved into all of that because that is our culture. So if we were to imbibe our culture, then we would not be sick. See, those 400 years of chattel slavery, it really did a number on us. And we're still in the cesspool of the sickness. So as Marcus Garvey says, I'm with him. Up, you mighty people, you can accomplish what you will. But you got to clean up this house. This house is the divine temple that the Most High gave to us. But if we're not in tune to it, when we're going to be subjected to all the issues that we have as a people. We have the highest incident of high blood pressure, men highest incident of prostate cancer. Our men barely make it out of 50 years old. I buried about 5 men who were close to me, but they would not come into holistic health. That's where my son comes in at. Because just as I'm doing Sacred Woman, I asked him, I said, I wrote the book. The men were begging me to write a book for them. The name of the book was Man Heal Thyself. I committed. I kept saying, no, I'm not supposed to do that. I do the rites and passages for the women. I do work for the family, but I'm not to do that. But they pleaded, and I said, okay. So then I asked my son, SupaNova, 2 years. I said, SupaNova, it's been a year and a half. I said, listen, I cannot teach Man Heal Thyself. I need you to teach these men because what happens, the women get healed up, and they got sick men. Sick husbands, high blood pressure, cancer, prostate cancer, they start to feel less than who they are when she could give him herbs and plants and foods and clay and repair his prostate, lower his blood pressure, get him fortified. She is the healer of the home. We are the women. We are the healers. And it's primarily the melanin woman. Everything is flip-flop now. Everything is now in our favor. You know? So now that it's in our favor, this is our destiny to be the mothers of civilization once again. And that knowing helps to build our self-esteem, because so many young women, they feel less than who they are. So they're able to be taken advantage of on every single level. So this is a revolutionary healing for me. And because I was the sickest of the sick, I had to be chosen to overcome my issues so that I could help the women overcome their issues. So when I would get interviews, they would say to me, well, you know, how do these young women, how do they even come to you? Because of nature. It is our nature to go to the elder women, the young women. It's rites of passage.
So let me ask you a question. You know, there's, for people listening, right?
Yes.
There's so many people right now that say they are holistic healers and that they're healers. How can somebody say, what would you say to somebody say, how can you figure who you can trust and who you can't trust? Because it's kind of like in every field.
Yes,
when it's something that's hot, everybody all of a sudden is it. Everybody does taxes now. Everybody does real estate. Everybody's a rapper.
But Queen Afua been out here.
No, not for yourself, but for somebody listening and then say, okay, well, there's somebody in my area that says they do the same thing. How would you say that, you know, they can check their credentials? What's a way that they can say that they really understand that these people are really trying to help me and not just trying to make a buck?
Well, basic is test their background through their testimonies. You have to ask around. What did they do? How did they do? How long they've been doing their work? How proficient are they in their work? But the first thing really beyond that is your intuition. One of the greatest gifts that you have is that gut feeling. We all know that aha moment when something tells us. You can call that God, Olodumare, Jah, Jehovah. When something tells you, you have to practice. I call it impeccable listening. And every single time in my walk that I did not listen impeccably, I suffered the price. You sign, you know, the Spirit said, don't sign that contract. And you sign that contract and you go down the road. And then you got to go through recovery. Don't go with that mate. He's not for you. He's the carpenter, he's not your mate. So we get confused because we want what we want, but there's a divine plan. It came out in 1969 for me. It was the Creator has a master plan by Fertility. There is a plan for our lives. It's already laid out. That's when we could go to astrologies and numerology readings. Everything's laid out for us. But if we're not in tune and no one has been able to guide us, then we just go for the okie doke. We go for anything. We get hoodwinked. But if you get in tune, that's the most important thing. I'm not telling the women to follow me. Follow the divine in you. Once we do a fast and we do the cleanse and we do a detox and you clean up your home, clean up your heart, clean up the words that you speak, the thoughts that you think, just start cleaning that up. You get a chance to meet your true self. And you are magnificently clear and beautiful. And the Most High will guide you. I've watched these last 2.5 years of my life shift. It was a complete shift. I said, right now, if I don't listen to the Most High on every single level, I'm of the age where it's over. You know, you go into what they call retirement. I'm more hyped up now.
But you like 35. Come on now.
Praise.
Come on now.
Well, I do yoga.
Okay.
They would call me a master yogini. I've developed the yoga. It's 108 poses, and that number represents the number for global transformation. So anybody even bear witness to those movements, they are transformed. The women are very drawn to these movements. But the movements, I researched these movements from ancient Kemet. So when you go into the lotus hand, that represents the coming out of the mud of pain and suffering, and you get it to illuminate. Then when you do the Reverence cobra, they all know the cobra. That means that you're waking up your first all-seeing eye. And when you can take that pineal gland, take all the junk food and the fast food and the fried foods and the flesh food and the past lives of anger and madness from these toxic relationships that you have attracted and you have created, then you can see your life clear. You can see the past of what you created. You can see the present of where you are now, and you can see the future of where you can go. And it's unlimited. The sky is the limit, and there's no limit because the sky is forever. So that's the power that we have, and it's to really, Sacred Women is all about waking up that healer within you. So you can go to a healer, and they can help you, and they can support you. But if you don't wake up that healer in you, then it's like you're the prisoner to the healer. Eventually, you're going to have to say, I can heal myself. My first book was written 35 years ago, maybe 40, and it was called Heal Thyself for Health and Longevity. I went and studied, and I read, and I got certified. But what did I have to do? I had to apply. I had to heal myself. And healing for me is not just now, it's every single day. Every single day you're facing life. You're facing your economics. Right now, this pandemic is taking people out. Why? Because there's a lack of knowledge. If we was able to tap into, look at y'all look healthy, something that y'all are doing. Y'all doing some right things. And that's because your immune system is defending you. It is supporting you. Your respiratory system must not be clogged up because otherwise you wouldn't be in the studio. You'll be one of the victims of the situation.
So you don't believe in the vaccine at all. That's what I'm feeling right now.
Well, you know what? This is what I do. I put the vaccine over here. And I said, if it's all about my immune system, and I defend my immune system by not putting the fast food process, the microwave, all the acid foods into my system, then my immune system is fired up. But also your immune system is not what you're eating, it's also your attitude. So if you look at the bad news every day, you become the bad news. You got to create some news from within yourself. I'm seeing my people starting to become entrepreneurs. Well, we're being pushed to become entrepreneurs. Now I know what they call this what they call it, I told you, it's like, I call this time the retreat.
Okay.
And what's this time they tell? Quarantine.
Quarantine, yeah.
I said, first of all, don't say quarantine. The minute you say the word quarantine, you done lost the battle. You got to say, I'm on a retreat. So if you're on a retreat since March, then you have written a book by now. You could. But if you waste your time being, oh my gosh, I'm quarantined, I have to be separated. Separate so you can think. All my writings came because I was by myself. It was me and the Most High, meant my fasting and my juicing. I was listening, I was tuned in, and 7, 8 books came out of me because of that, what we call quarantine, isolation. No, you're never isolated from life. Life is always there. It's just what you do with that life that you have. And if we use every single day to heal us, we'll have no problems. And one of the ways to do, set up your home. I teach the women how to set up their home as a wellness home. Now that's heavy. There was a Dr. Benjamin. She mentioned something that resonated with me so deeply. She said healing is not only done in your clinic and hospital. She said healing is done in your home and your spiritual houses. It should be. So I was always living that life. I was about that life. So for me, the kitchen is your kitchen pharmacy. So everything connected from the soups to the salads to the dressings to the herbs. You set that up, you good. Laura London was at my house about 3 weeks ago, and she said, Queen, I want one of those for my new kitchen. I said, oh, you want the pharmacy to be set up? Okay, these are herbs, put the labels on it. I'll put your beans, this is your proteins, then I'll make your grains, and then I'll put your herbs in that you're gonna need to put into your foods, and every time you have a soup or a salad, you have your medicine. So you don't wait till you get sick to try to get well.
That's right.
You work to stay well. You well, then you got to work to get well. Because people think, oh, I did my 21 day, I'm good. You're not good to nothing. If you think that's end of the road. No, that's to get you into the way. And once you get in it, then you got to be about it, and you got to live it every day.
You know, Queen Afua, let's take a step back because you came in here with the chopper this morning. You just so I just want to take a step back and just add a little structure to this. Sacred Woman, right? Sacred Woman.
Yes.
Thank you.
It's a guide to healing the feminine body, mind, and spirit. And you've given us a lot of jewels already. But where does that healing begin?
Well, you just said it right there. You put that to yourself. You said where does the healing begin? Where did your hands go?
To my heart.
Within.
And within.
It's within you. And you said the heart. So I'm going to put both together. The heart was the symbol that a whole nation was based on. And it's a feminine principle. The heart is called ma'at. It's a scale. On one side of the scale is the heart. On the other side is the feather. So your heart has become as light as a feather. How you can get your heart light as a feather and all this, all the madness that has happened to us as a people? Know that you have the power to change your reality. If you keep affirming that we don't have no power and we got to fight and the power is already in you. Transform yourself down to your DNA, down to your bloodstream, down to every cell, every tissue in your body, and then what will happen, it will be radiate out from inside out. And everybody around you will be transformed. And I know, because sometimes people say, I want to just sit next to you. I remember Erica when she was just coming in to her work. We would go to the bathhouse.
Say the full name,
Erica Badu.
She's my spiritual daughter.
Erica
Bless her
Badu.
heart, I love her.
Yeah.
She would sit next to me and she said, I just feel so strong with you. But you know, my strength didn't just come from the plants. It came from my father and my mother. My father was a Garveyite. He was an entrepreneur. And he told me that you have to be able to make your own money your own way. I've never worked for anybody my whole life. That's why I was sick. So when I started getting into this wellness, people started coming to me. People came to my house. My house was set up as a retreat. That's how I was just living my own life. That's what I'm saying. It goes. So for me, it is heal thyself. It is cause the balance. Our men die because of their broken hearts and they never get a chance to talk to each other. And nobody, and so you gotta be a hard man, get over it. Get over what? You're in pain. Speak it out, cry it out,
That's
take
right.
a hot bath, put some ginger in there, and you can begin to let that pain and that anxiety go. So these are just some of the methods so when you say, the affirmation I give to all my clients when they first sit down with me, I say this with me, and say it with fervor, because what you say is what you create. The power to heal is within me.
The power to heal is within me.
And I have the mighty power
And I have the mighty
And I have the
power
mighty
to heal
power.
myself.
to heal myself.
To heal myself.
Okay, now that's the power that we have. That is our innate power and our innate right to be empowered. And so we can block our power by not cleansing ourselves, but it's the cleansing is all encompassing. I say it's liberation to purification. So you can't be angry at your past. For those who are in a state of a divorce, stop saying the word divorce. Say, I'm in a spirit of a transformation. So if you're transforming everything you do, you come into another level. We're ending a cycle. So you can say, thank you so much for the lessons I have learned in this relationship. Because otherwise you go to your next walk and you got high blood pressure, a stroke, aches and pains, because you're still carrying relationships from 2 or 3 relationships back in your body. So it resonates in your chest, so you have a heart condition. Resonates in your brain, so you have poor memory. It resonates in the bones and joints, you become feeble. But as you cleanse yourself and repair yourself and say, thank you for the past lessons I've learned, now I'm smarter, I'm wiser, and then you're not carrying the baggage. Be my bag lady? I love that. You don't carry the baggage of the relationship, you carry the lessons. And when you carry the lessons, then you can carry the blessing. Because if you're a good student of life, then you gain from every experience. And they said people in business, you can study, but then you have to go through the experience. The experience is the best teacher. So if you really want to learn how to heal, you have to start to heal.
That's right.
This is spring cleaning time. This is a wonderful time.
That's
It's
right.
not about just changing your bedspread and changing the curtain. It's about changing your mind, the words that you speak, the thoughts that you think. Write your new life. That journal what you want. Check yourself. What do you want economically? Write it down. I call myself the bank now. I used to call myself the hospital and the clinic. I got that straight. Now I call myself the bank because that's the wealth. And when you go through Sacred Woman, you got to tap into your wealth. But if woman's not going to be complete unless she has Man Heals Thyself Wellness Warriors. So I said, well, okay, no, you guys, it's time to come on up with Man Heals Thyself Wellness Warriors. And so now we've observed the difference when a woman is in a happy home. And when she's in a stressed out home, she can do all the cleansing in the world. But if her mate is toxic and he's angry and feels like he didn't live out his pure destiny, she's going to have a problem. And she's going to fall off and she's going to fall out again.
Yeah.
So by shoring up the family, you have a healthy woman, empowered and strong and loving. And you have a healthy man, empowered, strong, and loving. You bring that together. They birth organic, healthy children. We create a new world.
Can we discuss fertility for a minute also?
Thank you for pulling me all the way back. Fertility.
You scared me. She just came out of nowhere. I was like, what the hell?
Whoa. Okay. Yeah. Fertility. Fertility is a lack. Infertility is a lack of oxygen.
But I think she had. You have more to say, Angela?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, because that's been a topic that has come up a lot with my friends lately. I've had friends that have recently frozen their egg, also people who are doing IVF. And I want you to discuss fertility, how that relates to detoxing diets and things that women can do, and family planning in general.
Well, one of my specialties is womb wellness, sacred womb awakening. So I teach women how to use the elements to preserve and repair the uterus. Because if you're infertile, most of the times you're bleeding a little heavy, or you are suffering from pain, so your uterus is constricted. And I was a colon therapist about 15 years back in the day, so I do believe in keeping the colon clean. The average woman carries 5 to 10 or more pounds of impacted waste in her colon. The colon over time then becomes heavy and prolapses, so it should be above the navel. It drops under the navel, and when the colon drops, because you had 3 meals a day, but you only have 1 bowel movement for the day. So that means at the end of the week, you should have 21 meals basically, then 21 eliminations. If you have only one elimination for the day, you have 14 meals backed up in your colon. That's where you get 5, 10, 15 pounds of impacted waste. Now that waste drops under the navel, sits down on your bladder, so you have frequent uncontrollable bladder urination. Then you have the colon and the bladder sits on the uterus, crushing the ovaries, the fallopian tube. Now you got to clean all that up. So now the stomach is not flat for aesthetics only. It is flat because it needs to have no impaction, but because we're eating emotionally. Most women are eating emotionally. If a date didn't happen, if things didn't work out, she's eating the foods that she was raised on that did not produce wellness. So she has a lot of congestion in her uterus. So I'll give you a few things to do for her. One is to take red foods into your, that's the red element, the fire element. That's the blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, strawberries. To take that as a blend with pure apple, make 2 or 3 apples, juice them, because it moves the body from an acid to an alkaline state. Take that juice, put the berries in it, and it becomes a delicious drink. That helps to clean out the bloodstream. When you're infertile, you have a weak blood. Also, you're clogged up. So we clean out the colon, take the okra, take your flaxseed, take your sea moss, take your water, we're dehydrated. The other elements, so you have the fire. What poisons the fire? The quickest way to poison the fire is meat. So start cutting back. You may not be 100%, but then just have chicken and fish organic and stay away from the beef, the pork, the goat, the lamb. That's a beginning step, transition in. Everybody's not going to be plant-based, but you can incorporate plants into the lifestyle. So that's the fire. So let's go back to air. There's not enough oxygen in the uterus. There's not enough oxygen in the bloodstream. So you have to increase your live foods. So I want to say, big it up to Aris, to Tom, because he brought the live food about 40 years ago into our community. So sun food. Sun food goes into the plants, give it the photosynthesis, it gives us the green. The green is the greatest healer you could take in to actually rejuvenate the uterus, the bloodstream, the nervous system, the brain. So to be fertile is to have a fertile lifestyle. A lifestyle that gives you energy and vitality. So let's get to the oxygen. Take in 2 salads every day. Add 2 avocados. You want to regulate your colon? Take 2 avocados in a day. Your waist, our waist is coming out scanty. It should be the length of our hand twice, wrapped around. So then you have that backup, and the bacteria is coming back into the bloodstream, poisoning the bloodstream. Okay, so we have the air. Take in live foods. Have a fruit bowl every morning. Have a vegetable juice. A green juice is power. I've been watching. You've been taking your
she been taking some greens.
I'm so excited every time I see with the green juice, because that for me is life itself. And even during the coronavirus, they told us, get sun, get the vitamin D. But when you get it in your foods also every day, you have supernatural energy. All right? You've tapped in to the resurrection of the womb.
Like you said, like when I go on certain periods of time, because the only thing I eat is chicken sometimes, and I really cut that back a whole lot, where I barely eat it, but it has changed everything. Like it does change, you know, sorry guys, how heavy your period is and how long it lasts, and whether or not.
So you're tapped in, you already know, because your menstrual flow goes down automatically. The fibroid tumors will be loosened up and pushed out. Sometimes women will go to the 2nd or 3rd month of pregnancy. They can't keep the baby because the fibroid is growing as fast as the baby's growing, and the fibroid will push the baby out by the 3rd or 4th month.
Wow.
Just that alone. So we do have to detox. It's not enough to just conceive. Now you got to hold the baby all through the 9 months. And then you got to go through that. You'll have preeclampsia where your liver is toxic and your blood is toxic, so you don't go through. And then you got to get yourself charged up so you don't go through mood swings. With some mothers, they don't even take care of their baby because they're so depressed, they're so stressed out. So we got to go through a whole lifestyle shift before we conceive.
Now, you know, that what you said.
Don't cut her off.
No, I was going to say one thing.
I have about 15, I call them Heal Thyself babies. These are mothers and fathers that think they could not have children. The minute they start to have a plant-based, more natural, more whole foods, inversion is like the simplest thing everybody can do.
Tell
and
them
it
what
will
that
bring
is,
the soul
Mom.
to life.
Tell them
Yes,
what
if you
inversion
just
is.
lay down in your bed, put 3 pillows at the foot of your bed and never move them. Pillow 1 on top of pillow 2 on top of pillow 3. I did it this morning just to be ready for today. That's why I just came out the gate running.
Let's go, Queen of Fools.
That Tempur-Pedic mattress.
That will help the fertility.
Yes, yeah.
That will help the fertility, and that will help keep men from getting prostate cancer.
So, Ma,
circulation.
slow it
So the
down.
legs-
Wait.
okay.
Tell them what
The
to do. 3
pillows
pillows, right?
At the foot of the bed, it's an ancient African movement for bringing the soul back to life.
So they lay down,
Or in the bed.
right?
The pillows are already there.
Elevate
Your
their feet.
legs are elevated over the pillows and just lay.
Yeah, I do that now.
10 minutes, that's
good,
all. Before you get out of the bed in the morning, and you can do massaging to wake up the prostate, to wake up the uterus, get the body ready, and then do it before you go to sleep at night, 10 minutes. And there's a couple hold hands and do it and breathe together. It will unify you. And you'll have sexual power, sexual energy, if that's what you're looking for, but you'll also create healthy,
Look at me, I'm not your couple. Don't look at me,
vibrant
man. Why you look at
children.
me?
I'm just looking at you,
You
bro.
gotta watch him. I was gonna ask, when you said that, a lot of people always call and say they can't afford, the fruit cups in the morning, the green juice, and because those foods are expensive.
No, they're
As-
not.
Well, that's what I was gonna
You
ask.
know what's more expensive? Being sick.
That's right.
Also, Brother Envy, we tend to invest externally, right? So we wear our accomplishment in our
Them
accumulation.
Yeezys, them
right? Yeah,
Jordans,
right.
some
But then when it
jewelry.
comes to internalizing, we don't make the connection.
Because that's the first thing people say.
Yeah.
I can't afford healthy foods. I can't afford organic foods. I can't afford whole foods. That's why I'm stuck eating the fast food restaurants, because I can get a whole meal for $2.99.
No, you can get a whole meal a good meal for the family for $10. You just get it's vibrations levels. You have your beans. Beans are cheaper than meat. The black beans, the pinto beans, the gabazo beans, your avocados. That's not expensive. It's just a mindset that we don't want to invest in ourselves, and we don't want to change our habits because we're addicted. And addictions are in the bloodstream. You count the blood, then you start changing your conversation. And I always ask people, what do you want to accomplish in your wellness? So once you have a vision, you can say, okay, I want a healthy relationship. I'm getting beat up in my relationship. You keep attracting sick relationships to you. So it's an investment into yourself.
Right.
Self-care, taking the time out. In between relationships, don't jump into another relationship. Jump into yourself. Nurture yourself. As it gets warm, we're gonna be more apt to healing ourselves. This is the season. If you don't do nothing, we brought y'all a gift. We got y'all a 7-day detox. Jada Pickett, we got the same gift of 7-day detox for Jada Pickett. We done brought it to the studio here for all of you. So give thanks and praise.
My wife ordered yours.
Did she?
Yeah, and
Okay.
my spiritual sister Angela Rye put her on. So.
Oh, Angela, right. Oh, we're going to Africa on Monday.
On Monday, yeah, you're
On
going to Ghana.
Monday, wow. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited with her. But anyway, so the 7-day detox, do it your own way. You don't have to get anything from me. What you have to do is get with your wellness. So it could be simple things. Eat how you normally eat. Just stop this. You don't have to stress out. But just include a glass of green juice if it's not too much. Cucumber, good for the kidneys. Dialysis, cucumber, watercress, parsley. Arthritis, turnips, a half of a turnip, dark greens, leafy greens, it will help to repair the bones in the joints. See, once you get some level of wellness, you say, wait a minute. If I was able to get that accomplished, what would happen if I went deeper? People have pain in their knees. I got a suitcase downstairs I got to take with me because I got to pack up my products. The clay itself, that's nature. That's the earth. You have pain, zinc, potassium, calcium, magnesium. Pack that on the knees. Once people pack their knees, say, oh, wait a minute, I feel that, it only took about an hour, it's 50% better. So sometimes you start with something small. Eucalyptus and peppermint, one of my formulas, is for the lungs. Once you get that with some lime water, wait a minute, my nostrils open up. My head is a little bit clearer. 2 days of that, I don't have brain fog. Don't give them everything. A little something goes a long way, but you have to just nurse. If you're trying to help somebody get into it, you're already in it, help somebody else. I teach one, each one teach one.
That's right.
I'm going to go back to that house. Did I do my inversions? Did you got the inversion? 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes at nighttime. Massage, do some deep breathing. All of a sudden, your womb, your prostate gets healthier, more vibrant. Have a salad twice a day and start bringing the avocados in. Start doing the right thing. Drink your water. Most people are dehydrated. The bodies are drying out.
We live on a water planet. This planet is majority water and
Three-fourths.
greens. And green, chlorophyll.
Yes.
Right? So if you just start there, like the sunlight, right, feeds it charges the plants. And inside of the ocean is the algae, or the greens in the planet. So the two main elements on the planet are chlorophyll and water, right? And so the more we have greens in our body, we're feeding ourselves. The same type of, abundance that we see luscious around us, that's what the sun is feeding us. So if we say we're sun beings, we want to have that balance. Also, encouraging brothers and sisters, whether you're plant-based or not, you have to stay hydrated. You have to drink water. We're 70% water. So the more water we drink, the more we feel in tune with ourselves and the environment. And then it creates movement. Sickness creates, when you're sick and blocked, it's stagnant. But when you have when your body's liquefied in a liquefied state, you're able to move things freely. So every meal you have, it move right on through. Most people are sick because they're dehydrated. That's the first thing, and you could just do a basic. Everybody, we could just do a urine test when you go to the bathroom. You'll go from, like, if it's really toxic or not alkaline, it'll go from high yellow, neon, and then they'll go light yellow, then white. So white lets you know that your kidney's in a good space. You're getting some good water. Now, if you're yellow within the next say 1 or 2 hours, just 32 ounces of water, within that next hour, 2 hour period, you could just do a small test like that to see, like, wait a minute, I feel good and my urine's clear, right? I want to keep that up. So you just do like small little tests to just look at yourself. Like I said earlier, Envy, about we taught to celebrate our external glow up,
not the internal,
which is not bad, right? But what if we match it inside? You know what I'm saying? Like we work our lives to accumulate so much things externally, but we're weak inside to show up to maintain that. So we talking about holistic wellness is to have optimum level of joy and life in your mind, body, and spirit. What are you doing every day to empower your holistic wellness? Like, I want to be charged in my mind. I want to be charged. I want my mind to be charged in this body. I want this body to be a vehicle to carry me and have the spirit to move through. And so when you find ways to just balance that out, and that's the premise of holistic wellness.
Let me ask you a question about balance, brother.
I'm sorry. What are your thoughts on marijuana? Because you mentioned green, and people automatically saying marijuana comes from the earth and it's something that you should use for your body. What are your thoughts on marijuana?
If you're going to have it, have it as a tea. Once you burn it, you're burning your insides. But, you can be on that level, but greens, I'm considered high every day. It's called elevation, being charged and getting circulation oxygen. So sometimes we could take something and we could make that a crutch. And that's the only way that we can be happy or joyous. But it's not. It's one of the plants in the garden. But there are many plants in the garden, so we get stuck on one plant. So.
Your son mentioned balance. What's your name again, brother?
SupaNova.
SupaNova, I'm sorry.
Slom, yes.
And you've mentioned it a couple of times, about the sacred masculine and divine feminine. What is the simplest way to explain what the sacred masculine and divine feminine is to people?
Well, I would say for the men, we have a training called Man Heal Thyself, Wellness Warriors. Actually, me and Mom co-authored a new book that's available now. It's called Man Heal Thyself, The Wellness Warriors Journey to Optimum Wellness. Men, we're not taught to value ourselves. We're taught to value our relationships, what we accumulate in life, what we work towards, and then we leave ourselves in an emotional deficit. And since from young boys, we're told not to cry, shut up, just get out here and get it and grind. So we do that really well. We can externally conquer, but internally we're depleted, right? So a true divine masculine attribute would say, okay, if I empower myself on a daily basis, work on my emotional body, my mental body, and really feed myself holistically, I can show up better for my family. I can show up better for my work in the world because I'm my authentic self. And that would be my my charge, what a divine masculine would be, a man that is really comfortable in himself, who's actually encouraged to work with other alphas, not trying to really compete with other men, just each one teach one, each one reach one. I see something in you, vice versa. We help each other be better. We take that back into our tribes and we continue to build. That would be a compliment ultimately to what Mom is signaling with Sacred Woman, because she says that a lot. You have all of these sisters. Y'all look online. Sisters are going to this retreat. They travel around the world. They're in their whites, and then so we're the brothers. Like where are the men to gather to charge each other, hold each other accountable, just from a not really competing on a religious level or economic level, but just charging each other holistically. You know, hey brother, did you take your herbs today? I'm saying did you de-stress and take your second bath? I know life was hard, or you was working hard in the gym. Did you just take that 30 minutes in the tub and, you know, soak and just get all of that tension out your mind and your body and just relax? That would be, for me, a sacred masculine, you know, and creating a circle, what I call wellness warriors. You know what I'm saying? We have the gangsters, we got the thugs, but we need some wellness warriors. I mean, from the hip hop community, we've lost quite a few powerful icons who are not even 50 years old from health disparities. You know, we have, you know, Heavy D and Big Pun, Prodigy, you know, so many brothers that did not make it to thrive on, you know. And so I think that we can use this in honor of their spirit, especially being a part of the hip hop community. We should begin to journey, especially as men. You know, we should be able to be the same type of energy we take to be go-getters and accumulate what we need. We should use that same type of spirit for ourselves so we can show up better and be our optimum selves.
That's right. You know, Queen Afua. Okay.
You're a wellness coach right now also, right? So you work with a lot of people. And, you know, I have a juice bar with Styles P, me and Envy.
Oh, I know y'all
P.
do. Y'all be rocking. I see y'all.
Yeah. He tells us how much his attitude has changed just from becoming vegan, right? Because he would be angry, he had a bad temper, but now everything is chill, he's smooth. And I just feel like it does like reverse age you and also your whole temperament as well. Were you always vegetarian and vegan? Were you raised that way?
Angela,
Since
I was born vegan from her,
right.
The womb. Yeah, you know, when my father met Queen, you know, he was into the medical field, and he happened to be a vegetarian at the time, and they conceived me in that. So it was very hard being raised in the 80s in Crown Heights, Brooklyn.
Those McDonald's commercials, that White Castles was calling.
I mean, every time she would, okay, so this is the fluffy Queen you see right now. You know, Queen Afua in the 80s. You know, pulled knives on my uncle for feeding us toxic foods.
It was a black skill.
You better not feed my son, though.
It was a black skill. It wasn't a knife.
Okay.
So it was a sacred knife. It was a sacred knife.
But my point in saying that was she was so what the warrior spirit around wellness and maintaining, you know, your body, mind, and spirit in an optimum level. I got from her because she had to maneuver us through a system that was not supportive of raising vegan children in Brooklyn, Crown Heights in the 80s. You know, it was very. I mean, I was always getting in fights every day because I had Sprout sandwiches. My homies had. They had. I had Sprout sandwiches. You know what I'm saying? Sprouted bread with some avocado slices and some Sprouts. This is 1982. Fighting in school. You know, with the kids with the heroes. You know
How
what I
they
mean?
used to Sprout shame you? What was a good joke you heard? I know you can look back and laugh now.
The kid with the heroes.
Well, I mean, they just always, every time I would whip out my lunch, everybody would come around, look at you, you know? So, but for me, right, it made me strong. I had to fight just to be vegan. So I have always had a more warrior approach to my health and wellness just because of how I was raised, because I had to defend myself, just eating an apple.
These kids are too soft these days now.
Oh, hold on.
They be crying, they be bullying, they be all types of, oh man.
But I'm saying that to tell y'all that you know, she the type we need to be the type of warrior that she signaled for her health and then passed on to her children. That's the spirit ultimately, without being dogmatic, that we're just trying to share with brothers and sisters. Like, you know, we have one life. You know, we should protect it and defend it. There's so much stuff that is challenging to try to break us down, you know, and we should encourage each other so we can have longevity and be resilient, you know, in the midst of this. And just one more point, Angela, to your point about being vegan, my motto is no excuse wellness. You know, I'm a combat veteran. I served in taught in Afghanistan. I maintained being a vegan when I was in basic training, when I lived on base, and when I deployed. It was no excuses. I did not compromise one time, you know, and so that's the type of spirit that I would like to share with everybody listening, is that once you make a commitment to yourself, that you say, you know what, this is my life. I'm not perfect, but I'm gonna do everything I can daily, you know, to feed myself, to thrive. You know, once you make that commitment with yourself, you lock and load that. You know, you take on a warrior's mentality. You become a powerful male warrior, woman warrior, you know, a sacred woman, you know, on your journey, so you can be able to fortify your life consistently.
Pardon my language, Queen Afua, but to SupaNova's point, it's so ass backwards for it to be so easy to pass a brother a blunt or some alcohol or some drugs, but feel ashamed about passing them something healthy.
Yeah.
Passing them something
At
positive.
this time, life has changed.
Yeah.
People who were not into health,
Oh, they
all
coming.
of a sudden, everything has shifted because now because I have Dr. One of the physicians, one of my dear friends, she talked about the body bags that was outside of her clinic in Brownsville. And at that time, particularly, people were going to the hospital, they were sitting them home. Go home, quarantine, because the staff was overloaded, they didn't have enough supplies, everything was happening, especially the beginning. And so people now have to go home and take care of themselves. They're either going to heal themselves or they're going to become a victim. And at this point, when you go to the hospital, you may not see that family member again. As many people are very in a state of turmoil because they left their family there and that was it. But if you go home now and you have awareness, I put out the 9 protocols. And I put those protocols out so anyone could pick them up. They're free on my website on some basic things you could do. From taking ginger, take a root of ginger, juice that, a few tablespoons in a glass of lime water, take that down, your lungs will come back. People lost their job just by coughing around other people. So getting that circulation up. Then boosting up your immune system. Take your red clover as a tea. Take your echinacea as a tea. Just simple things you can begin to do to begin to boost up your immune system so that you don't have to be subjected. It's just a lack of information and taking this as a way of life. So those are some of the things I would say that this is a critical time to wake up. If we could wake up and we can galvanize and start to heal ourselves and really take our homes as a wellness center. I said the kitchen is the laboratory. The bathroom is your hydrotherapy room. In the bathroom, that's where you can use your healing bath. You could take your showers. You could take your enemas to clean out the years of impaction. You could take your nutty nose rinses. Water therapy is an African form of medicine. So doing that water therapy in that room with the various herbs and tonics and such, you can work in your hydro.
I didn't want to have you forget. Can you just share with them? Remember we talked about what it took you to get this book to the people, to the women. I just want you to share with them.
Well, when the book first came out 20 years ago, if it's okay to go there, the book came out 20 years ago, and I remember Cheryl Woodruff, she called me, she said, she's the editor, and she said, the book, I came out the meeting, it just came, I just had a copy, I was so happy. She said, they said it's too big, it's too black, it's too boom.
Too strong.
Too strong. And so that means basically I had to take this book and take a walk and then just start galvanizing the women and say, you don't have that big support from the house that was supposed to help to build the work up. So for the book to go through an anniversary and it's on the number 1 sellers list now, it's because I had to hit the pavement, and I talk about wellness every day, 7 days a week. And I dedicated myself. The way that I dedicated myself to my children, I dedicated myself to my community the same way. I think about a story in terms of raising my children was the same. Like I felt like I was in combat, and I was fighting against disease, but fighting for the wellness of my community that has suffered from the highest incident from suicide to diabetes to high blood pressure. I was called in the hospital, and I work undercover, and they asked me to come in the son because they wanted to take the father's colon out, or portion of the colon out. He was one of the community leaders. So I went in, I came in with my green juice and my green juices and my Green Life nutritional formula, and then I came with my Breath of Life, and then I gave him that in between him seeing the doctor. And then they said, within 24 hours, I don't think we ever take the colon out. It's just the body was becoming lifeless from foods that had no life and vitality in it. So taking the kitchen, the hydrotherapy room, the bathroom, the living room, that's where you create your great mind work. Get up between 4 and 6 if you want to tap into your supernatural jewels. And that early morning rise, you can ask any question in the universe.
That's right.
And you just ask that question and it will download through you. You'll know where, when, how, and who. If that's not some power, you don't got to ask somebody outside yourself. You just have to practice it. It's a practice.
Especially if you meditate.
But that's the meditation. That's the stillness. If you could be still enough, you can start to channel and hear exactly the formulation that's going to work your life out. And when you get that formulation, then you have to put it into action.
You know, in the book, you talk about the gateways of initiation. And, you know, you talk about sacred words and sacred foods, all stuff that you've been describing now. How does that lead to healing, and what exactly are those gateways of initiation?
There are 12 of them. I'll just briefly go through them, because the last one is what the women are really coming for now, which is the last 5 years, I saw a major shift. They want to have their own businesses. If you don't find what your purpose is, you will never be satisfied. I don't care how much money you make. You have to know why you came on the planet, and then how to bring that to life, and then how to get paid while living out your real destiny. Now that takes some elevation out of the toxic way of thinking. What you speak, you create according to our ancestors. What you think, you create, and what you take in the body, you create as a frequency. So that real discipline is what we need to have in order to go into our supernatural state. Anybody could take this book and transform their lives. Even men have taken this book, and they've taken portions out because it was really written for both women and men initially. So in the first gate is Newt. Newt is about womb healing. So if you have fibroids, cysts, heavy bleeding. Now, men have to go into that, because if she's sick, her womb is sick, he's going to have a problem. Because it's not just in her physical womb, it's in her state of mind. When she's sick in her womb, her mind is not well. When she's sick in her womb, her heart is broken, and you could be the best man, but she's carrying 5 relationships from her past, still holding on to that, and that's impacting her present state of being.
Weigh you down.
So you got to clean up all those 3 states in order for her womb to be well. So I talk about that in the gateway of Newt. Newt symbolically is over the planet, according to our ancestors, and this light. And when the sun goes down, eat life-giving light foods, cooked by the sun especially. And that's called the 12 hours of the night. It's just one of them. The 12 hours of the night is that means when you eat foods from the sun all through, or you're resting and you're drinking water, lime tea. When you wake up in the morning, you have another level of awareness. And you can ask any question in the universe and get an answer. Right? So, and now healing the womb, I have 25 womb rejuvenation techniques. One of my favorite juices is the womb fruit julep. That's the blueberries, raspberries, blackberries with the apple pear juice. So in other words, everything we're eating should have a purpose. You shouldn't put nothing on your body, nothing in your body unless it has a real purpose, because it's going to create your life. So that's Newt. So you learn that. Then the next one is Tahuti. Tahuti is about Hekau. Watch your words. When I realized the words was going to kill me, I will check my thinking. Because before you form a word, you have a thought. That thought is what people come in, curse you out. Wait a minute, what was I thinking? What was I feeling? How was I hurting? Because the people coming in are showing me the words I've been thinking and feeling and speaking. And that's a hard one, because sometimes we said words that was told to us as children. And we grew up with those words as teenagers. And then we grew up as women or men with those words, and we curse our children. We put our men down. We beat ourselves up internally. So we have to shift the words. And so we affirm that in the gateway of the word Tahuti, which helps you to be the scribe. Everyone can be a writer. It's all inside of us. And there's something special and unique about each one of us. So that's Tahuti. The next one is your food is medicine. Word is medicine. Food is medicine. You know what foods to eat for the body's anatomy based on the elements, ether, air, fire, water, earth. Then you won't have a problem. You have a respiratory problem, have some scallions, have some red onions. You can clean out the respiratory system. You know, so I go through that with food as medicine. Set up your kitchen. The next one is movement as medicine. I'm a biker. I'm a mountain climber on occasions, and I'm a yogina. I'm a stone biker.
Yeah?
I am the most fierce biker, yes.
You know, when it gets warm, I'm a biker too now.
Whoa, okay, all right.
He's trying to challenge you.
No, I don't mind a challenge because I'm a biker. Okay?
Now, I mean, 100-mile biker now.
Well, I'll train for you.
He just like wearing the shorts. He just likes the little shorts. That's what he likes.
You gotta wear it.
He likes the outfit.
When your butt be hurting, you gotta wear it.
He loves the outfit. He talks about putting the gel in the pants. He loves it.
You have to, but go ahead, continue on, sister.
Yeah, I am a biker. I've been biking since I was 16. I used to drag my children to the gym. I used to drag them to the track. I said, y'all got to be in shape. You just can't be eating right. You got to be able to move this body. You got to have the right thing. I was military. I've calmed down quite a bit.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Need to know you did.
And I have my moments, you know.
If it got so bad, if we left the green juice on the table,
that's the story.
she would
I
run
ran
out into the street, catch the school bus, climb on the bus, and tell the driver this bus is not leaving until he drinks his green juice.
Right.
Wow.
No, I'm not playing.
That's
they
how she
know
was.
because I had to protect their immune system.
That's right.
And I knew that our children don't always get back home in our community, and it's a lot of it's the anger in the household, the things that have been said, the frustration as a people, the social injustice. We don't always make it back home. So I would tell my child, I said, the only way you're gonna make it through your life is you got to keep your vibration high. Because if your vibration goes down, you're going to be subjected to anything. A gun is going to find its way to you. So I would really, I would tell them things like, those who hang in the street get hung.
That's right.
So that's how I would come as a mother.
So let's stay on track. Movies. You're on movement.
They're moving.
Now beauty, I think.
Gateways. Yes, ma.
Okay, then movement. So I came into the movement bike. I developed a system called womb yoga dance, Boom Ka'ad, based on the ancient movements of our ancestors. They can call it Egyptian yoga, but I don't call it Egyptian because that's not our true name. It's the Black land, it's Kemet. But it's that Kemetic yoga through movement. But it's also get unstuck. You have to push yourself. Sometimes we get into a rhythm that we can't seem to get out. We're looped into it because it's in our DNA. Our mothers did it, our grandmothers did it, our fathers, even if it's not productive. You keep drinking that drink, you keep eating that food, you keep thinking those thoughts because it's in the DNA and it's automatic. So you're going to have to flush and cleanse to save your family because you can go double back to them and help them to heal themselves if you can break loose. So we talk about breaking, and it's in each of the gateways there's a glyph. That gateway it's a knife and it's a feather. So you have to become your own surgeon. And you have to cut away corruptible matter, whatever that may look like. If something relationship does not serve you, serve yourself out of that relationship. But you say, but I love him. Well, you're going to get hurt. You're going to hurt yourself if it's not healthy for you. Let it go. Then you may need to come in a circle. That's where the rites of passage, because you missed a lot when you didn't get your rites of passage training, men and women. So that's the moving forward. The next one is Heteru. Heteru is about the children. She's the mother of the garden of the children. And what happens is she represents the most beautiful woman. Every woman is uniquely beautiful. She's a flower in the garden of nature. But she can't tap into that beauty if her inner child is broken. And most broken adults have that child. It hits them about 5 or 7. That's when, if you go back to when the pain began, you would know the story. Some of us are still under the bed, in a closet, in a corner, under the shower, looking out the window in a trance because they got so abused in the household. So you have to, then I tell the women to go to her, sit with her in your psyche, because she is in your psyche and she is ruling your life. And you have to tell her, I'm here. Come with me. I have a better place for us. And you take her into the circle and you take her into the prayers. And I sometimes would see, when we go into that meditation, I would see the little girls in the space crying because of what had happened and they were left behind. So when you bring yourself, all your parts of yourself, your teenager is enraged. The teenager never recovered. She got married, still got an attitude. Your teenager. So we got to take those broken parts and begin to mend them. And we do that in our rites. Then we move ourselves from that level into Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar is about the lady of the heavenly realm. The woman who knows, she picks up, she feels everything. What I do not know, I trust my spirit to know everything. I said, am I supposed to be here? Like, I was nervous to come here. Spirit said, relax.
Why was you nervous?
Yeah, why were you nervous?
I'm so happy I'm here. I don't know what to do with myself. Y'all are such a big deal in our community. I'll tell you the truth.
You a big deal in our community.
You a big deal.
I done heard from you. I mean, from Angela to Lathan
You're a big deal.
like my wife Erica. Like, come on.
Y'all impacted us, and we love you.
We do. We love y'all.
And I love y'all all so much for you taking care of us, taking care of our minds, bringing up issues and bringing to the surface and being able to endure. I know y'all are our heroes. So to come into the room with you was a big deal.
Well, it's a balance. It's ratchetness and it's righteousness.
Well, no,
Okay, it's a balance.
It's my art. It's my art.
but at least we get a chance to talk about it.
Yeah.
And we get a chance to overcome some of the things because we're bringing it out. Because if nobody speaks up for us, or about us, then how could we even grow? You know, I grew up with Imhotep, Gary Bird. I grew up with Bob Law. So y'all are the continuation of, for me, of the legacy of talk, real talk. And medicine comes out of that talk, that communication.
Just trying to teach our community, you know, the things that they don't teach us, whether it's
and I feel
wellness,
as a
whether
mother.
it's
That's why I'm
mental
so
health,
with you.
whether it's real estate, generational wealth,
All
things
of
that we
that.
don't know and that we're not taught. We're trying to do our part.
And you're
And we're
doing
trying to bring you here to really teach us
There you
because
go.
we know way more than us. And this is your life's work, so that's important.
Wow. And I'm so honored. So I'm over the top honored. So the Spirit said, relax. And I had to trust. I'm taking notes. I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, just center. That's why I came in here running. Okay.
So you at the gateway.
I'm at the gateway. Well, the next never has the intuition, trust. Okay,
right.
That is my art bases on whole civilization. When women were revered, women were not abused, they were not raped, there was no incest. Women were lifted up based on the 42 laws. The 42 laws of power really came out of the 42 laws of my art, and it's about the balance. And when we get our balance, it's not just physical balance; it's emotional balance. It's mental balance. That's why holistic health is so big, because we're looking for the balance. We're looking for ma'at. We're looking for the harmony. And so ma'at also deals with our relationships. What do we feel about our mothers and our fathers is very important. We have to heal that up. And don't wait for your parents to heal it up. You have to heal it up as the child, as the adult, by being forgiving. Because I'm going to tell you, they did everything they could do with what they had to work with. And every parent is going to come together. The parents come together. Like, I'm with the mothers. And I tell them, I said, listen, if you can forgive your mother, then when you have children, they will forgive you. Because you swear like, I done did everything. I got you to private school, and I made sure you had food and clothes and show. You get the whole list. And they said, you know what they said? But that thing that was so important to me, you did not do that. And now they're broken and they're mad at you, and now they're screwing everything. But that means you got to go back to your back, seven generations back to go forward. You got to go back to your mother and father and just say thank you. Just a simple thing, thank you. That begins to heal your heart, because a broken heart is an aneurysm. A broken heart is a stroke. A broken heart is depression. So when you can begin to repair that heart and then repair the family by doing that, then the family's future is brighter as that balance comes in. Part of the balance is the tongue. On the top of the scale is the tongue. You can destroy somebody with what you say. Social media, I got to put a prayer on it. When you talk to each other, don't talk to kill each other. Talk to heal each other. Have compassion. Have forgiveness. Have mercy. See, you're not just destroying one person that you attack, you're destroying their whole bloodline. Because when they build up, we have a hard enough time becoming entrepreneurs, making our own money, building up our banks. When we need money, we got to come to each other. But if you destroyed everything through your words, you have no one to go back to. So when you hurt your brother or your sister, you're actually hurting yourself. So when we look at ma'at is about that balance. The next one is about Ast. Ast is the mother who sits on her throne of power. And how you get your power is you have to use right brain, which is your creativity, which is your intuition, which is your art, which is your beauty. But on the other side is your masculine side, which is where you're going to live, how you're going to live, how do you make your money. So if you can bring both brains together, that's the medicine, literally. You know that the symbol of medicine is actually the Renanet, the cobra going up the spine. America has taken on that symbol of medicine. And anyway, that's right and left brain. Balancing that out opens up the first eye so you can see everything. And you can see what is not good for you. You can see what serves you. You can see why things happen. You can see why you're in the family that you're in, why you chose that family, and what you're to learn from that family, and how to evolve the family to the next level. You get this deep insight. And so that Asnebit head is all about that balance. And then you're not angry at your past. You're not angry at the baby daddy. All that. We have to even stop saying the baby daddy. You have parents. You're raising children. So we have to raise each other well and give each other respect. Because if a woman curses the father because she's mad at him, she curses the children. But she chose him. So she has to take responsibility for that choice. But at the same time, it's the same thing on the other side. Men, you stay in the family. Don't buckle. Don't run from the children. Don't run from the responsibility because you're going to run from your life. You know, so we build up from inside our Asenebet head. Asenebet head, all that is, the Asenebet head represents those two women.
Sister to sister.
The sister to sister. So all of us have a Nebet head. We have a sacred sister. It may sometimes be your best girlfriend, your homegirl, your co-worker, your mama may be your best friend. But we all need one because they help to balance out, help us to express and exchange. We automatically have healing circles. And the healing circles in our families would always be the kitchen. 4 or 5 women are in the kitchen and they're talking. That's what their healing circle was. When women back in the day used to do quilting, they would quilt their lives together. That's why one of the things we have to do as a people, we have to quilt. We have to begin to come in and support each other to the fullest extent. And then our bank is full. And then everything we need is in the circle. And you affirm that everything I need is right here in the circle. Everything I need in my life is right here with me. Let me look to the right and the left. And if it's not there, then go within your inner circle, clean up your life, and then you'll be like a magnet. It's my electric foods, you're the electricity. Magnetically bring everything to you, and then everything will be about upliftment. And then you have the final gate that shows up in the older book is the gateway of Nefertum. Nefertum is the lotus. Out of the mud comes forth the lotus. Nefertum is also a masculine principle. The mud, in the mud is a seed. I talk about in Christianity, it's called the mustard seed, but in this is the lotus seed, and that lotus seed represents cleansing, purification, illumination, power. Now, in that seed is encased in the mud. Mud are your lessons. Don't curse your lessons. Learn from every single one of them, and don't be ashamed of them. Speak it out. Talk it out so you don't have to live that through any further. But then you go into the water. The seed comes out. It starts to grow into the water through the cleansing and the fasting and the prayers and the journaling and the meditation and the yoga. You can take 1 or 2 of those principles and just work on that and focus on that. And what you do is you come out of that water and you come to the top of that water and you blossom. I say lotus, you say blossom. Lotus?
Blossom.
Lotus, blossom.
Lotus?
Blossom.
And what does blossom mean? You're in a full bloom. You could be in the full bloom of your career. Sometimes we're in the full bloom of our career and we can't handle it. So we take alcohol, drugs, we take things to numb us out or move us forward to get us up. When you're in tune, then you can pace yourself in a way that does not destroy. So that blossom. Now, this book, the anniversary, there are 2 more gates that shows up. That is working with time. Time is life itself. Do not waste your time. Think before you act, because see, once you go down the rabbit hole, you mess up and you fall down. It may take you 5 years to get back out.
That's right.
So you better think real clear about the next move. Like they say, may your next move be your what?
Best move.
Okay. So you have to be in a very centered place to make right, whole decisions. So I look at time based on the guardians. The guardians are not gods and goddesses. They're indwelling principles of life. So the first guardian, if you can begin to do this for 7 days, spring is coming. Tap in. So for 7 days, just check and get a journal. Get up between hours of 4 and 6. And don't do it with an alarm clock. Just tell yourself before you go to sleep, I'm getting up at 4. You get up at 5. It's okay. But in order to do that, you have to eat light when the sun goes down. Remember I told you 12 hours of the night? When the sun goes down 6 or 7, have a salad. Or have some fruit. Mono fruit, just a bowl of grapes, a bowl of berries. Have a tea. Have a live juice. Liquefy, right? So you could wake up with clarity. When you wake up, you're going to get a download, upload. And you're going to see exactly your roadmap, your plan. You could be on somebody else's plan. You're in the wrong plan. If you're in the right divine plan, then things start to work. So that's between the 4 and 6 hours, right? Now, you start to work that plan in the morning. By the time you get to the middle of the day, that's Nebuchadnezzar's hour. Then you have Af's hour or SAR's hour. That is that time that you pull in, everything comes to you. You make your contacts, you fulfill mission, you're trapped, everything happens during that time. Now, check time. When you get down to the 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock time, you start a retreat. Now it's time to go back in the house, your inner house, back to the meditation, the gratitude that you made it through, that you got out your house, you came back well, that you're in the whole state. Take a bath, take a juice, do a prayer, do your inner work. Thank your family for being a family. Go into that. So then now you're going into Heteru's time. And then by the time you get to the 9 or 10 o'clock time, it's time for you to go all the way in and retreat, but don't go to sleep. Stay woke. Stay awake in your sleep, because that's when you're going to get the download. While you're sleeping, you're going to get a vision. The vision is why I'm here. You hold on to vision long enough and strong enough, then it will manifest out of you. So that's how I follow the sun into the moon. The sun is coming up, move with it. Travel around the clock, or a circle, full circle, right? Then you get to the moon, you go all the way in. You can see it on a glyph. Our ancestors were so evolved. Mother Nut is over the whole planet. You might see her in the temples of ancient Kemet, where her arms, imagine 10 stories high, and her arms are all the way down. In her are stars. Across her body, from her neck all the way to her waist, is the sky. And then on the other side is her legs. It's bringing heaven down to earth. So women are to become heavenly bodies. When a woman becomes heavenly body, she gets ultimate respect. She gets the ultimate love. She can turn somebody who's a wicked soul into a high being by her kindness, her powerful kindness, her powerful love. Her choice of words will help to lift him up from out of the depths of hell. She has that power because she's a heavenly body, and if someone comes near her, she'll be, but if she gets caught up and she thinks she's not, then she's going to lose her strength and her power. So that's the flow. And I counted where the sun travels, when it's in Tutankhamun's resting place in Kemet, is 12 hours of the night. When you and the sun goes into the sky, and it shows up in art where the sun is birthed through the womb. And by the womb there's the wings. So the sun, so when you birth yourself in the morning, there are wings. What do these wings represent? That you're going to fly, that you're going to soar, that you're going to overcome, but according to how you live. Now, the very last gateway is Meshkinet. The last 5 years I have bear witness, because one of the things they asked me during the anniversary book is to record what happened over the 20-year span that I have observed. The women started asking to become healers. Before that, they were trying to heal. But when the 5th month of 2015, they came as doulas already. They came as yoginis. They came as vegan chefs to me to study. They came as polarity practitioners and midwives. And they knew that even though they know these different techniques, if they're not balanced, they're not going to be able to have a long life in their work. And I have buried 9 healers, so I know it's a fact. I had to examine myself. Why am I still on the planet here now? And feeling as vibrant as I was when I was 25. Well, biking helps. I have my partner.
20, that was only 10 years ago, though.
Huh?
You said when you was 25?
Well.
What are you talking about? It sounds like it's so long ago.
Well, yeah. I'll take that. Well, but age is not something to be afraid of. Age is wisdom, and age is power. The only time you have to be afraid of it is if you become feeble. Right. If you start, because age, you can start to lose your mind, lose your strength, lose your vitality, lose your bones and joints. I put together a little 20-page little booklet for the elderly. And I wrote down for those who are taking care of their family, caretakers, all the things you can do to preserve the elderly in the homes. You have to put them in old age homes, and they can be vibrant. So I've taken that into account. What do we do when we become wealthy in our health? We start to help the elderly. What happens when we become wealthy and healthy in our health, women? We help our men to be strong and vibrant. What do we do when we become wealthy and healthy with ourselves? We have our healthy children, and we go in there and we help and lift them up. What do we do when we become healthy? We help our community. So women are around the country. We have women in Canada. We have women throughout the United States who have taken the training or has picked up the book and started to take circles and started to do it that way. We have women in Africa who have taken the training on. And I remember I went to Africa about 7 years ago, and there was one of these, he was 6'5". He said he was in the mountains. I don't know exactly where he was in Africa at the time. He just walked to me and he stared at me for about an hour. He said, "The book, Sacred Woman, I teach the book."
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Yeah. And then he disappeared.
Whoa.
What do you? I got a couple more questions because we've had you here for a while, and I know you got things to do. But what do you plan to gain from the trip to Ghana next week?
Well, I did see a spirulina factory in Ghana. I want to go and visit the spirulina factory because we don't have to be sick, and the children are taking spirulina, plant-based, right? And so that's a medicine that I want to connect to so that we can begin to reproduce some of the plants and herbs from our motherland. And that will bring more money in economics. The tourism there is actually supporting, Ghana tourism supporting this trip that we're taking. We're also going to open up a wellness center eventually. There are people that are interested in supporting us and help. I call it the City of Wellness. My work, my foundation work is building a city of wellness. I said, the people make up the city. If you heal the people, you heal the city. That's how you turn the city around. And so I come with that City of Wellness work, and that everyone is important in the city, from the carpenter to the plumber, to the midwife, to the doctor, to the herbalist. We are all important. Not one of us is more than the other. So that city concept is what I want to bring. I also going to do a tour in August, because tourism, they look at us as economics too. After we've been 40 years of chattel slavery and being dragged and beaten and whipped and chained, we still got wealth. But the parent would say, you represent money. They look at me, well, Queen Afua, we are so happy to have you come and be with us. Well, I also love my people, home and abroad. And I feel that we're going to quilt. We're going to quilt each other back.
I love that term. I love that phrase, quilting.
And cocooning. Cocooning is when you go in and you heal and you work on yourself, and then you come out as a butterfly and you begin to get your wings and you expand. So, the Creator has a master plan for this. I was coming for one thing. It has grown so tremendously. Everybody's so excited. And then our beloved, when she said that she would come. Angela, right. When she said she would, it was so deep because the book is coming out. And so she interviewed me because she loves the work, and we just bonded so deeply. And she's one of our brilliant minds on the planet Earth. We highly respect her, all of us. And so after she interviewed me last week, she said, well, Queen, we got to get together. And I said, okay, no problem. When I come back from Ghana, she said, Ghana? I want to go to Africa. I said, you want to go? I said, well, you can go. She said, I don't know if I can. I said, well, let me give you a reading. I said, everything looks good. This is going to change so many things. It's going to lift you so high. So she, decided to go. Queen Esther, my soul sister, she's there holding the fort. And we're looking at land. We're looking at a compound, and we're going to go there and see how that works out. But I went 25 years ago. And I went because I was insulted. I got on a radio show. And they called me a quack. I said, because I can tell you what to do for pain, I'm going to be called a quack. Wait a minute. Sugar is eating away at our bones and joints and our nervous system. Come off of the sugar. Come off the white product that converts into sugar. And then taking the greens and the plants and the clay and the soaks and all of that. And that pain will leave you. And so I just taught it downstate. A medical doctor said that, that made that statement. And it impacted me. So I said, I'm going to go home some kind of way, because I felt I could be received there for my work. But I had to come back here. I mean, my karma was to come back here. I had to write these books. These books would not have been written. Heal Thyself would not have been written. I know it. City of Wellness would not have been written. Man Heal Thyself would have been written. But you'd have been me in Africa, all my 3 children. So I knew that there was something I had to give to my people here. And I feel that I have given, and now I can expand us. I'm not leaving, I'm expanding us. There's a big world, and we're going to bring it to a wellness world. That's what time is on the planet. I'm going to do my part, and we'll all do our part, then we can bring about a major shift on the planet.
I have one more question. It's just about the book. I love how you break down ancestors and elders and contemporaries. But why are some older people, you consider them contemporaries but not elders? Like, for example, I think you had Oprah and Iyanla as contemporaries. Why?
Well, when the book was first written, so it's really that we 20 years later.
20 years later, yeah, okay, duh.
And I had to put some.
Got you.
I had to do some updates. I didn't do all the updates, but I did as many as I could. But at that time, they were contemporary. Dr. Ju Pulcrum, she's one of the wellness soldiers, and she was a surgeon. She put down a scalpel, and she took on the wellness platform fully. And so She was a contemporary at the time, 20 years ago. And it took me 7 years to write the book. So it wasn't like it was an easy way. I did what I had to do, but I got and I was given great support by Suno Uncle Rasamar Pata, Studio Pata, and we worked together. And he did the historical background of the book.
Baba Haru.
Baba Haru, yes. And so with that, and then I'm connected to the people. The people also gave me the information of what they needed, and that shaped the book. And I had a wonderful editor, Cheryl Woodruff, was working in Random House at the time, and Marie Brown. I called them the Asa Nebbit head of this book because the midwives, because they held me up when I didn't know if I could do it. I remember Cheryl said, "Queen, you're writing too safe." Then out of that came I Cry River of Tears That Heal, which is one of my, I won't say my favorite. You don't have the favorite children, you don't have the favorite chapters, but that one took me.
Can you quote it a little bit for them?
Well, I have to read the book. I have to turn to the page. Oh, gosh. I Cry River of Tears That Heal. Oh, look at you already.
Yes, ma'am.
You might find it before me. Well, let's just try to pull this up right quick. That's in the womb. I Cry River of Tears That Heal. Let's go to the womb.
That is
Ooh.
15? No, 33? Or the care of the womb? Is the spirit of the womb or care of the womb?
It's the care of the womb, the spirit of the womb. This is in the care of the womb. Okay, I went past the cold. I went past the heavy. Detox trip. I went through all the womb diseases. Well, you know what? Well, is it okay? You know what came to me? I'm gonna just do this since I can't find it. You might find it before I finish. But this is a womb profile. This right, and this is on page 64, womb wellness profile. So any woman could fill out these 3 pages as today, or when you get the book, and then stay with as much of this work for the next 12 weeks as you can, on your own or with a group. The rites of passage is on the 21st. It starts this on this Sunday. Fill this out. If you have chronic heavy bleeding of 7 days or more, and I have to say, on this day of Thanksgiving, a young woman came and sat with me, the Queen of Green, our spiritual daughter, Lauren Vanderpool. We gave her a meal, a vegan meal. Was wonderful. That day, the sister said, "I want to come and I want to work in your center that we have in LA." And I said, okay. The next day she called me, she says, "I can't." I said, "What happened?" "My sister passed." I said, "What she passed from?" Well, she was 25, and she bled 7 days or more every month. She was hemorrhaging, heavy bleeding. Wow. She passed from heavy bleeding. Nobody speaks about that. And even the STDs of women suffering from herpes, they feel there's no way out. I got a call, 21 years old. She says, "I have herpes." She called me up, picked up the phone, started crying before she gave her name. I said, "What?" She said, "I have herpes. My mate has herpes. My friends have herpes. People in my community have herpes, and we don't know what to do." It was that kind of call. I said, "But nature knows what to do." And I gave her the ways to boost up the immune system, to build up her pH balance in her in her womb. So she was able to begin to come out of that. So there's so many. My prayer goes out to us. So I'm going to just read this really quick so that you can fill this out, do the nature work. If you're seeing other practitioners that's working for you, what happens if you can't just hit and miss? If you find somebody that works for you and that system works, then stay with it and grow through it. Okay, so if you have menstrual cramps, heavy bleeding and clotting, vaginal itching and burning, this is a clap that we clap and letting it go, vaginal odors, chronic vaginitis, vaginal sores, vaginal cysts, candida, painful intercourse, inability to experience orgasm, frigidity, sexually transmitted disease, sexual abuse, a toxic partners, infertility, toxemia during pregnancy, difficult childbirth, miscarriage, abortion is a form of birth control. One woman had 11 abortions. That was her form of birth control. That is violence to her womb. What was going in her heart? What was going in her mind? And she had the same mate. We have an issue here. Hot flashes, vaginal dryness, menopausal madness, night sweats, pelvic inflammatory disease, blocked fallopian tubes, endometriosis. Let's prevent the hysterectomies by becoming womb wellness healers of ourselves, genital prolapse, uterine cancer. And I want to say this as a disclaimer. If you're seeing your physician, continue to see your physician. But also embrace a lifestyle of holistic wellness. Go back to your physician after a month. Let them examine you. The physician will say something like this: "You seem to be getting better. Let's just wait. Let's just wait before we maybe we can cut back. Go back the next month. Give yourself 3 or 4 months of it, and every time go back and check and keep records. The physician was, and I've heard many physicians tell my clients, whatever you're doing, keep doing. What are they doing?
Keep doing it.
They're eating whole foods. They're having green juice at your juice bar.
Juice for life.
Juice for life.
That's right.
You want to leave us with some final words, Miss Sacred Woman?
Yes. This is a prayer. And it's prayer. This is the prayer that we say as we go from gateway to gateway to gateway.
So should we bow our heads?
We can go within.
Okay.
Like you said, we're going to
within.
go within. Yeah. And there's a prayer for the women and there's a prayer for the men. Do you have that prayer?
No, I don't have it with me.
Okay, you could just.
Yeah, I can
Okay,
try.
you say your prayer first, and I'll say, because it's really about the balance. Women healing themselves in a bubble, it's not going to work, right? Man healing himself in a bubble, it's not going to work. If you have a couple, or if you have yourself, heal yourself so you can attract a healthy relationship. And for the men, you heal yourself so you can attract a healthier woman. We're giving up on each other.
The charge for the men is, arrange for me the way. May I renew myself.
May I renew myself.
May I become strong.
May I become strong.
Arrange for me the way.
Arrange for me the way.
May I renew myself.
May I renew myself.
May I become strong.
May I become strong.
For the women, sacred spirit, hold me near. I'm praying above you, below you, and inside your heart. So just take a deep breath and breathe in and out as you receive it. Sacred spirit, hold me near, close to your bosom. Protect me from all harm and fear beneath the stones of life. Direct my steps in the right way as I journey through this vision. Sacred spirit, surround me in your most absolute perfect light. Anoint me in your sacred purity. Give me peace and divine insight. Bless me, truly bless me as I share this sacred life. Teach me, sacred spirit, to be in tune with the universe. Teach me how to heal with the inner and outer elements of air, fire, water and earth. And take these words and put to practice. Take these words and live this holistic life. And let us be beacons of light. Let us have great, powerful testimonies that we create a legacy for our children's children's children, and that we no longer be a broken people, but a people lifted up. And as Marcus Garvey said, up, you most mighty people. We can accomplish what we will. Give thanks and praise.
Wellness
Thank
salute.
you.
Wellness
Wellness
salute.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Let's mark history. How long was this interview? 90.
Hour and 30 minutes.
You almost beat Dick Gregory. Almost.
My hero.
Rest in peace to Dick
Rest
Gregory.
in peace to Gregory.
Almost.
That was Dick Gregory.
Hour 45.
He's my hero. And
Thank you, Queen Afua.
And we did leave some gifts for you.
We got gifts for y'all.
We
Yeah,
left you a
yeah.
7-day detox kit. Also, I left my brochure, my catalog for women who want to take my training and for families who want to take my training, because I have a lot to teach. And I just want to thank you for the support. I'm so overwhelmed. This is a crossroads for my career, my work, to be lifted up in this kind of way. But if you didn't lift me up, I was going to lift up our people no matter what. But by doing this, you're helping so many families right now. They're so inspired and encouraged by you anyway. So if I can have an opportunity, I want to say to Dr. Save, I love you. To Dr. Africa, I still love you. So my brothers in Conrad in the spirit, and there's no dividing. It's no divide and conquer. Willie Lynch is dead. It is over since the new beginning. So I thank you.
Make sure y'all go get Sacred Woman, A Guide to Healing the Feminine Body, Mind, and Spirit. Available everywhere you buy books.
All right.
It'll change your life.
Salute.
Breakfast Club, good morning. Thank you so much.
Give thanks.